Well, hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn show with me, Andrew Eborn, and a special guest, a regular occurrence here on the Andrew Eborn show, Greg Swenson, who's the chair of the Republicans Overseas UK. Welcome back to the show, Greg.
Great to be here, Andrew. Good to see
It,
you.
it's always fun. Trump's recent speech to Congress was the longest in modern
Yeah,
history, 1 hour,
yeah,
40 minutes, which I think beat Bill Clinton's State of the Union address of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and I think 49 seconds.
yeah,
He focused on defending his tariffs and hinting at a Ukraine deal. How
yeah.
effective do you think this campaign style approach is in rallying support, especially given the mixed public response in the polls?
Yeah, well, I don't know about mixed, Andrew. I mean, look, CBS put out a poll. CBS is not exactly a conservative network. They're very left-leaning and terribly biased. 51% of the audience was Republican. The other 49% was independents and Democrats. And yet the approval rating for the speech was 76 and only 23 disapproved. So I think it was well received. Bill Clinton's speech, yes, was not quite as long, but it was terribly boring and it bored people to death. Whereas Trump's speech was not. It was very exciting. I thought it was fantastic. One of the best political speeches from a president, from a sitting president in history. So, good for him. I think it was a little long, but he had a lot to talk about, and that's why the ratings were great. I mean, again, 76% approval. That's fantastic. And look at what he's doing. And he went through all of the accomplishments, or at least all of the efforts that have been made in the first 43 days. All of those things are polling in the 60s and 70s. So yeah, I think it's a good idea that he did the speech to maintain that momentum, to keep people informed on what he's doing. He's been very transparent. And so given that the high approvals of what he's doing, I think it's important to keep up that support.
Fantastic. And what do you think the feeling is regarding Ukraine? Because obviously he's got a victory there with Zelensky was said the
Yeah.
only way he was able to basically repair the damage would be to eat humble pie. We've seen
Yeah.
that letter. What's the reaction in the States regarding that?
And so far so good. I mean, it maybe the surprise with it was how fast it happened. I mean, it was 3 days and Zelensky completely rolled over. It was a mistake on Friday. I think he understands that. Obviously, the U.S. is the most powerful country in the world. You don't go into the Oval, you don't march into the Oval Office making outrageous demands especially on a deal that's already been negotiated. So it was a mistake, tactical mistake. He was ginned up by the Democrats. He had breakfast at the Hay Adams Hotel, which is right across from the White House, the morning of the
You
White
were
House
there
meeting.
on Inauguration Day.
That's right.
We
That's
were
right.
chatting to you
Yeah.
there, weren't we?
That's right. I was at the Hay Adams, and there was a great party on the Friday of inauguration weekend, a British American party at the Hay Adams. It's a very historical hotel, and the Democrats met with him, and Chris Murphy, the Democrat senator from Connecticut, was bragging on Twitter on how they convinced Zelensky to reject the deal. And so then he marches across the street to the White House and essentially does that. Big mistake. I think he understands who has the power in Washington right now, and turned around quickly. It wasn't quite as fast as the president of Colombia when he threatened not to take illegal migrants back into the country, and Trump threatened him with tariffs from the seventh hole of his golf course, and by the ninth hole, he had flipped and agreed to take as many migrants as they could possibly ship to him. So
Yeah.
that was 30 minutes. This was 3 days, but good news in both cases.
Well, certainly all sorts of records are being broken. Talking of the tariffs, then, I mean, just how effective is it really just a negotiating tool on behalf of Trump?
I don't think it's only that, although it's a very useful one. It's also potentially a revenue producer. We have a terrible crisis in our budget right now. 36 trillion in debt and burning, in the last 4 years with Biden, it was $2 trillion deficit a year. It's unsustainable. It's unhealthy. So even though tariffs can't replace tax revenue, it's only going to be at the margins. Every little bit counts, just like every spending cut counts that we're getting from Elon Musk and Doge. But also, so it is a negotiating tool. It is a revenue tool. It can also be used to protect critical industries in the U.S., which I've never been a mercantilist, but there are some things that are critical to national security, like rare earth elements, like critical minerals, like chips. So I can see some of that as well. So, but I think you're right, Andrew. For the most part, it's more of a negotiating tool. And remember, the word he kept repeating last night is reciprocal. This is not like he's being hostile to people. He's just saying that our tariffs, US tariffs, are going to be the same as our trading partners' tariffs on us. I think that's just common sense. Common sense is a theme you heard a lot about last night.
Yeah. And finally, Greg, reports are coming in about the US having held direct talks, maybe with
Yeah.
Hamas, a group it labels as terrorists. How do you think Trump justifies this move, given his hardline America first stance? And what does it mean for US Israel relations?
Yeah, I think the U.S. Israel relations are solid and will always be solid. If he wants to negotiate with an enemy of Israel in the spirit of ending hostilities, I think he should go ahead and do that. But I don't think there's ever a doubt about our support of Israel. So I think, the president is just he runs a different type of administration. We haven't seen a lot of this before, but good for him for trying different things and being aggressive and being even, to the point of being, almost overly aggressive. But I think that's very welcome at this point.
Okay. Greg Swenson, thank you so much for joining us. I
Thanks,
know you'll be
Andrew.
back with us same time
Look
tomorrow.
forward
But
to
for
it.
now, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew. Great to see you.